On my desktop today is a Gusta, we call it a Gusta Acoustic, and this is most likely a Chinese OEM done for a music shop here in Bangkok called Music Arms. It's not uncommon for some companies to have higher companies like in Indonesia, Korea, China, or even Japan, but Japan is generally where the higher end guitars come out. And for the higher end guitars in the USA, you have makers like Samick and also Cort, which have been around for a long time, and they really make spectacular guitars. Usually their own brands are overlooked, but people who are really smart to the fact that Cort and Samick really make some of the premier guitars in the world for some of the big name suppliers. They just buy a Cort guitar because the Corts themselves are coming from the experience of from building all these other different brands which are high end. In this case, back to this case, this is just a Chinese OEM, and it's an entry-level guitar, although this is a little bit better of an entry-level guitar. I would say here in Thailand, an entry-level guitar may start off around 3,000 to 4,000 baht, and then kind of work up to, say, maybe 12,000 to 14,000 baht range for the higher end. This is somewhere close to that, the higher end, but this is about a little over a 9,000 baht guitar. Let me get in closer here. As we see, I believe you'll be able to see this. Here is here is the crack, and the crack goes from over here over here, so it's a pretty long crack. And the customer said, I believe, from what I understand, is that their Apple device, probably most like a notebook or notepad, fell on top of this and that cracked it. Alright, on the inside, I already looked on the inside. Let me get the camera ready. And you can't see the crack all that well. So what I did was mark up with pencil, scratching there with some pencil by feeling where the beginning of that crack was and where the end of that crack was. Hold on. Let me see if I can get in here. Okay, you can see where I made that pencil mark right there. Then there should be a pencil mark over here. Yeah, right there. So you can see there's a brace in the way there. So I'll probably put 2 on this end and 1 on this end for a total of 3 cleats or braces. And then the front here, I'll just use CA glue right here and work it in there. And then probably use some chopsticks on the bottom end to kind of push this area back up to meet this area, which isn't moving that much since this is close to the edge. So I believe by putting some pressure over here, just on this end, that should be able to push it back in there. I'll push this down. I'll come over with some very fine CA glue so it can just suck right into there, and I'll make sure I cut out my chopstick lengths long enough and just get the glue in there and then stick the chopsticks in there to support this end pushing up, and we'll let that dry, and then after that dries I'll come back in for the cleats. Now this is the quickest repair and the best I can do for the price. Because like I said, this is an entry-level guitar and you don't want to put a lot of time into this and cost the customer as much as the guitar is worth, or almost as much, or even more. So the best thing to do is get it done to the best of your ability, so you stop that crack from growing more and becoming more visual, and move on. Okay, another thing that you might want to watch out for when you buy an entry-level guitar is these bridges here are often just thrown in there, and they shouldn't be loose like that. They should be snug. So if you make any kind of investment, a good investment to make would be to put a bone nut in there. That does make a difference from the plastic one. You get a little more sustain out of it, and you can sand it so it's tighter. Okay, but like I said, this is entry level. Just do the repair and move on. You know, just let the customer know, and if they feel like doing that, then they can always do that later on. Okay, that's it.